It is just a huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Dr. Desiree Walker, DDS, FICD of Lumber River Dental and an American Ninja Warrior competitor. She was on American Ninja Warrior 6. She first competed in Miami, May 26. Then she returned on American Ninja Warrior 7 in Orlando. And then she won again on Ninja Warrior 11 on the 29. She is a legend in my mind and most other people. She is a general dentist and owner of a ground-up construction, state-of-the-art dental practice called Lumber River Dental in Lumberton, North Carolina. She's known in many circles as the Ninja Dentist. She's a 3-time competitor on the hit NBC television show American Ninja Warrior. She is a UNC Chapel Hill School of Dentistry graduate, a fellow of the International Congress of Dentists, and member of the ADA, AGD, and American Academy of Clear Aligners, and American Academy of Facial Aesthetics. She's a board of trustees to the North Carolina Dental Society and past president of her district. She's licensed to practice dentistry in the state of North Carolina, Colorado, and Arizona. Does that mean you're going to be my neighbor soon?
You know it.
I hope so. My gosh. She has been published in Dental Town, Dental Economics, and Sizal Edge, has presented at dental meetings across the country. In addition to Dr. Walker's Ninja Warrior treatment, she's also a 2-time national fitness champion, pro fitness competitor, and an adult gymnastics competitor. She has been a nationally ranked as an amateur triathlete competitor, is a Boston Marathon finisher, a CrossFit champion. She has creatively integrated her love of fitness into dentistry by transforming her private office into a ninja training suite equipped with rings from the ceiling, bars on the wall, and a balancing slack line. Outside of her dental practice and ninja training, she enjoys outdoor yoga with her 2 cats, Jones and Lou, as well as long hikes with her husband, Ash. She is passionate about helping others integrate movement into their dental workday. How in the world did someone like you end up in a sit-down job like dentistry?
Well, I didn't really realize how sedentary it was until I got into dental school. I had shadowed a little bit, and that's when it actually really hit me.
So when you hear all these dental injuries, like a dentist always told me, one of his associates got carpal tunnel syndrome. Mm-hmm. And this dentist out there fishing with me thinking, if he just would have put his flat hands against the floor and done maybe 10 push-ups every morning, maybe that would have prevented it. Do you believe, what do you think our sedentary dental occupation does to our body?
Well, when we sit still and lean over patients and we're sedentary during the day, our muscles and our joints don't get nourished the way that they're supposed to get nourished. I mean, I kind of think of it like when you extract a tooth and the patient gets a dry socket. They get a dry socket because there's no nourishment, like the clot is gone. And that's basically what's happening to our bodies when we sit still. Like the blood flow stops. The blood flow stops to those muscles and joints that need it. The electrical nerve impulses aren't firing the way they should, and our bodies just become starved for movement.
Now, you actually started this American Ninja Warrior at rock bottom. You said dental school almost ruined your neck, back pain, and that you actually treated it by American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, it was a long time coming, but a roundabout way, it was moving throughout the day, which kind of propelled me to American Ninja Warrior. When I was in dental school, I was active. I thought I was really active. I ran. I did triathlons. I did a lot of biking. I thought, I'm active. I'm working out. I'm super fit. And then we got in clinic and I started having a lot of neck pain, like really bad. I'm like, what is this? Why am I having this? I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm an athlete. Like, why am I hurting? And I was actually even in a back brace throughout dental school. Like I went to the physical therapist and they said, we're going to put you in this back brace to help you get out of pain. Here are some exercises for you to do, like try to do them during the day. Here are some stretches to do. See if you get any better. I was like, oh, I'm an athlete. I stretch, I should be okay. Well, I actually started doing those exercises and those stretches, and I started feeling a little bit better. But it was still like really bad. Like it was like so bad. Like I really thought I was wanting to drop out of dental school. I mean, if I couldn't finish dental school, how was I going to be a dentist and practice for like 30 years? I mean, so pretty much at rock bottom, it was like at the beginning of my third year, before I went to dental school, when I was in high school and like in college, I dabbled a little bit in it, was gymnastics. And I loved gymnastics growing up. They had a club gymnastics team at UNC. My neck hurt like to cycle. I really couldn't enjoy a lot of activities I wanted to enjoy. I said, what the heck? Why not just go back to a club gymnastics practice? Life is like miserable right now. Maybe gymnastics will make me happy. I really didn't feel like I could hurt anymore. So the first practice was pretty rough. I just started like really basic skills, like swinging around the bars, just rolling around the floor a little bit. And I just knew my neck and my back was going to hurt like tremendously the next day. And it actually felt better. I was like, whoa, this is weird. I thought maybe it was a fluke thing. So I went back again that same week. And the more I would like swing on the bars and just move my body in different positions and ways, like I started to feel better. I was like, there's got to be something to this. Like, what is this? So I started like incorporating like a lot of hanging throughout the day as much as I could. And like eventually like my back like got so much better, and just things like just built like one after another. I started like diving into body weight training, doing a lot of like incorporating yoga and moves and exercises and stretches. And then by the time I graduated dental school, I was like practically pain free. Like it was pretty awesome. Like I was super excited. And so I just kind of continued with the fitness thing, did a few fitness competitions. And one day my friend was like, Desiree, there's this show on TV. Like, I don't watch TV much. I don't have a whole lot of time. She was like, it's called American Ninja Warrior. You need to YouTube it. So I YouTubed it. I was like, oh my goodness, this is me. Like, I love this stuff. Like, it was like this tremendous obstacle course. And you would have to climb and you would have to jump. And it looked amazing. So I just sent in a video of me working out, and the producers gave me a call. So it was pretty cool.
Everybody's talking now about ergonomics. That, you're going to solve your back pain by getting a better dental chair, a better stool. I see all these ergonomic dental chairs where you sink your knees into them. Well, do you think that's a big thing to help you stay out of pain, ergonomic equipment, or not so much?
I think it does help, but you have to realize, like, how many hours are we actually sitting in that dental chair out of the day? I don't know, Howard. How many do you think you sit in the dental chair?
Well, I mean, last week I worked 7 to 5, Monday through Thursday, 7 to noon on Friday. I mean, that's I don't know how many hours that is because I took geometry instead of calculus, but it's someone listening might figure it out. But yeah, that's a lot of hours.
So yeah, it's a lot of hours. But when you think about it, there's a lot of hours outside where you're not sitting next to the patient. So I think just as important as your patient care time and being ergonomically positioned is your time outside of patient care time when you can work in that movement. I think ergonomics is extremely important, but even if you don't have the perfect stool or you don't have the perfect setup, there's like so many things that you can do to make your body feel better. I do have of course, my top two things in ergonomics are, I've heard you talk about this too, is loops. And I don't think I got them early enough in dental school. So I really encourage any dental student to, as soon as they can, get a pair of loops. But that keeps you from craning your neck forward, which can cause tremendous neck pain and just lead to a whole spiral of events. But as far as a chair, I really think that the tripod chairs, where you're kind of like not sitting down all the way, you're almost in a perch position where you can have a little bit more weight on your feet and your legs and your thighs, and getting your legs, those muscles firing, are very helpful.
So you said it was loops and a chair
Yeah, loops, and I like the stool setup. It's a stool chair, a saddle stool chair, and that you can position where your legs are not exactly at 90 degrees. Your hips have a little open angle, so you're almost sitting at a perch, semi-perch position, where more weight is on your legs and your thighs, and so you're having to use more muscle to hold yourself in that position.
So what name brand, do you have a name brand for a saddle stool chair?
There are a couple out there that are really good. I currently use the RGP one in my office, but everybody has their hips are a little, different sizes. The RGP fits me well. Orsk Optic, I tried that one several years ago, and that was a great stool as well.
So it was RGP1 dental saddle stool chair?
Yes.
And what was the other one?
It was Orsk Optic, and I don't have that one. I tried it out at a dental show, and it was fantastic. It didn't have quite the saddle hump, which some people really don't like. But I thought that was a really good one too, because you could open up your hips, you could have the weight in your legs.
So when you talk about exercise, are you mostly doing some of this in between patients, or is this mostly before work, before you get to work, and after work?
Well, this is how I like to split it up. I love being an athlete, and I love training like an athlete. And sometimes training like an athlete is not the best for your body. It's not the best for dentistry. I know that you cycle, right? You cycle quite a bit, Ironman. So, after cycling quite a long time, sitting in that seated position probably doesn't feel that well when you're over a patient. Right now, currently, I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting. So I know that I need to make sure I keep my body mobile and stretched out during the day. So I'll take a little break. I'll come into my office, and right at my office, I have a stand-up desk, and I have a little slack line at my desk. So I can kind of balance a little bit, stand up, move around while I do my notes. I have a chin-up bar that's over in my doorway, so I'll just jump up on it and hang. But as far as full-on workout, no. I just really try to keep my body loose, kind of stretched out, move around, not sit down when I'm not with patients.
I always thought the sweetest patient I ever had was this guy named Bernard Wells, and he saw me after a dental procedure, kind of popping my back and all this. And he left, and he went to Home Depot, and he came back, and he installed a chin-up bar. And there were three. And there were three of us dentists there at the time. It was me, Giacobbe, and Dominic. And my gosh, it was just an amazing. I mean, you do a molar endo, and it's like falling into a rabbit hole, and you disappear from space and time for an hour. And then when it's over, you stand up, and you're just, it's just really great to do something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It makes you feel it's like the quickest shot of dopamine and serotonin you can possibly get, I think, is to move around, hang from a chin-up bar, just stretch out your body. You just feel so much better. There's actually a book, and I recommend this book for anybody that has upper body or neck or shoulder pain. And it's written by an orthopedic surgeon. And he actually did full shoulder reconstruction surgeries and full knee reconstruction surgeries. But he was outside hiking with his kids when they were 7 or 8, and they were traversing a ravine where they had to traverse overhead like monkey bars. Well, when he jumped up, like to grab like the traverse, he couldn't get his arm like up to like his ear, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, what's wrong? Like I'm too young like to have these shoulder problems. I'm the one that fixes these shoulders. What is wrong with me?" And he, when he got back, he started just hanging, and he took an MRI of his shoulder, and he realized that there were some bony, not gross, but I guess like arthritic type changes. And he did an MRI of his shoulder. Then he started this hanging protocol where he would hang. He started like at 30 seconds per day, and he built his time up. He did an MRI like at 6 months later, and the whole bony structure of his shoulder has changed. Like his body actually healed itself from hanging. And that just goes to show that like the positions that we put our bodies in so much with our arms forward and head down really just, take a toll and form our bodies in that position. But, we can reverse it, and we just got to be very mindful of it.
So what's the name of that book?
It's called Shoulder Pain, The Solution and Prevention. And there's actually a little excerpt written by a dentist. Now, I do not know the validity of this. I did not check the sources about the little excerpt that the dentist wrote, but it was an excerpt about TMJ pain, TMD, and hanging, and how he used that with some of his patients to help relieve jaw pain. So I haven't read any studies, but I know that's a little excerpt in the book. Very interesting, though. It's super interesting.
Shoulder Pain, The Solution and Prevention, revised and expanded by John M. Kirsch, MD. And let's see, this is a self-help book written by John M. Kirsch, an orthopedic surgeon for the public. It is a result of 25 years of research into a new and simple shoulder exercise program to treat and prevent rotator cuff tears, the impingement syndrome, and the frozen shoulder, testimonies and research CT scans. So you're a big fan of that book.
Super big fan. My mom had a rotator cuff tear at 69 years old. And with physical therapy and hanging, she didn't have to have surgery.
Huh. Now, that's the next question. A lot of people believe, I see this a lot where people just start saying that they see someone like you and they think, come on, Desiree, you were born that way. You got the gift of good genes, and don't be telling us it's your yoga and all that stuff. What would you say to those people?
I probably have the gift of crazy because I just love movement. I have had my times in my life where I have been, I consider myself been out of shape. Especially when I had 2 knee surgeries when I was in a lot of long distance running. But at each challenge, at each obstacle I had, I found a new way to move and to enjoy movement. Like when I was doing all this long distance running, I hurt my knee. Some of the cartilage actually tore from my femur, and I couldn't run for several months. I'm like, you know what? To be active, to be fit, I don't have to run. I can do something else. So then I started swimming, and the same thing happened with dentistry, and my back was hurting, and I couldn't ride my bike. I got to find something different. So I went back to gymnastics. So it's just exploring different ways to move and to enjoy and to feel better.
So I went to the website of those 2 chairs, and it is amazing. Orsk Optic, which you think would understand this a lot since they're into loops. They say clinician and assistant stool added to the Bodyguard Pro line. So even, they're calling it the Bodyguard Pro line. So they're totally understanding that ergonomics has to do from the stool to the loops. And so it says Orsk Optic introduces the Bodyguard Pro Assistant and Bodyguard Pro Clinician, a line of ergonomic stools designed for dental operatory working to reduce strain. Do you think these are taking off?
I think they're a little bit slow because when you come out of dental school and you see these different stools, you're like, oh God, that looks kind of weird. Do I want to try something like this? You're not really used to it. And a lot of times you feel more comfortable with what you've been taught with. And that goes with your instruments, that goes with your equipment. So I really would recommend like everyone like try them out at the dental trade shows. That's how I found. I read about them and then I had to try them out at the trade show to see if it would really fit and how it felt while I was using it.
I really enjoyed that book called The Rat Cage. Did you ever read that? See that TED Talk about the rat? But anyway, it was really interesting. Where basically they were saying, we build our own rat cage, and you've turned your dental office into kind of a ninja dentist gym. What have you done to your dental office so that you can get in a little moving and stretching during the day?
Well, Howard, I don't know if you can see this, but I'll give you a visual and audible tour for our listeners. So right as you walk in, and I'm actually in my office, I have the chin-up bar. Chin-up bar is mounted right above my doorway. And that's so that as soon as I walk through the doorway, like I have the temptation to jump up and grab and swing and just hang for a microsecond, even if it's just a microsecond. I really don't do a whole lot of chin-ups on it like during the day because I'm not really trying to build my muscles while I'm doing dentistry. I just want my body to feel better. So that's the first thing I have. And then over to the wall, I have this set of wall bars, and they're called stall bars. They're used a lot in gymnastics, like strength training, but they're great to stretch from. Like you can just kick your leg up, stretch, hold on. I mean, they're like endless possibilities to stretch and feel better. So many exercises that you can do. Stall bars, you can buy these online. I think they're basically a universal gym. Not only can you stretch from them, you can hang things. I have my bungee cords I attach to them so I can do actual strength training exercises or more stretches. So that is a big marker in my office. I also have a little, it looks like a swing, but it's a back strap that I hang onto my stall bars that I can stretch and arch over. It's great for full back relief. But the most fun thing I have are the rings. And the rings, they're mounted on the ceiling. They're great to swing from. I even put up more rings on the ceiling when I was training for American Ninja Warrior. So for American Ninja Warrior, they call you about 3 weeks before you're supposed to go and compete. You don't have a whole lot of time to prepare. So I was like, oh, great. And I don't have a whole lot of time to take training to go to these big ninja gyms. I gotta create it here in my office. So I actually put some things on the ceiling, some more rings on the ceiling. I have this little steering wheel thing that I traverse across. So kind of crazy, but that's basically just for ninja training. Super fun, not really stretching out my body. But instead of a chair, I have a yoga mat. And at my desk is a stand-up desk. And on the right in front of it, I have a little slack line that I can balance. I have my little half dome that I can stretch my calf out on. I have multiple types of bars and foam rollers that I can roll on if I really get in a pinch and get a back bothering me during the day. So all kind of stuff. So it's super fun. And you can't help but move around. When you're in this type of environment, you can't help but move around.
Well, when I was little, and was, starting in the 7th grade, me and John Leese in Wichita, Kansas were going and spending time with every dentist we could find. And one of the dentists who'd let us observe was Dr. Prapard Peltzer, and he was a stand-up dentist. And back then, he was a grandpa back then, and he was telling us these young kids that left stand-up dentistry to sit down are going to regret it when they get older. Do you think stand-up dentistry is better for your body than sit-down dentistry, even if you have these fancy stools?
Well, the gym of standing up is in the movement. And you go back to the Industrial Revolution when there were conveyor belts in factories and people were standing up and having all these back problems and back pain. And then we go to, now modern society where we're sitting down at desk and we still have back pain. And what they've come to find out it's not the action of standing, and it's not really just the action of sitting. It's the no movement that you have. So even if you are standing over your patient, you're still ergonomically probably not in the best position because you're probably kind of leaning over and you're sedentary. You're still for 10, 15 minutes. It's not like you're actively like stretching your calf or you're balancing on a flat standing up. You're sedentary. Honestly, I really don't think there's a whole lot of difference between that and sitting down, besides the activation maybe in your core and your quads while you're standing up. But I think standing still at your patient still has those risks and problems.
By the way, if you're listening to this on iTunes, you got to switch over to YouTube. This is not something you want to hear only. The article we did with you on Dental Town was a huge smash. The Ninja Dentist reveals her training ground. Amazing. But you said something I didn't understand. The relationship between orthodontics and the Quasimodo typical dental physique. What's Quasimodo?
I think that was a typo. Sorry about that. And the relationship between orthodontics and the pain in our bodies, or the Quasimodo. Oh, sorry about that. It's completely. You go to these trade shows, these older. You go to a dental meeting, you see these older dentists, and bless their soul, but they're like humped over. I mean, and they cannot like straighten up at all. Like their head is hit forward and they're humped over. And that really gives us a good clue, like what is going on. Like they have put their bodies in that position for so long, for so many hours, for so many years over their patients, and their bones have actually formed in that kyphosis, that humped over position. And if you think about it, it's the same relationship with putting braces around our teeth, how we put a force on our teeth and cause bone to actually remodel. And if we can think of our environment like our quote unquote braces, then we can really think about movement and healthy movement in a whole different way.
So what is, I'm still trying to figure out what Quasimodo is. Oh, well, here.
Yeah.
Well, so what is Quasimodo, also known as Lord Quas, is the animated alter ego of side project of hip hop producer. So what is it then?
Oh, it's like a humped over type.
Like a Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Like the Hunchback.
So what percent of dentists do you think have that Quasimodo figure after doing this from age 25 to 65?
I don't know what percent have that kyphosis humped over position, but in the June edition of JADA, it was a great article. It's wonderful. I'm so glad that someone actually did the study review. The article was called "Musculoskeletal Disorders in Dental Professionals," and up to 80% of all dentists have some type of musculoskeletal problem, and depending on the study, but they range from like 17% to like 80% of dentists. And I know that when you have your body in that type of position and your bones are formed in that position, the wiring, the nerves and the tubes, the blood vessels and the veins, they can't flow like they should flow if your structure is upright, if your structure is, like it should be. So there's a whole host of problems. I mean, some people don't have pain, but being humped over, but I do think that it is just an avenue to create a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, so that was in JADA this month. What was your takeaway from that article? When you read that, what was your takeaway?
It was a great article. They did a review, I think of 34 articles. You'll have to go back and see and just make sure I'm correct. 34 articles that reviewed musculoskeletal pain, and 17 articles that actually had interventions with dentists or dental professionals who were having pain. And of all but 2 articles, physical activity was one of the main things that helped relieve dentists from musculoskeletal pain. I thought that was great. Of course, it didn't go into what type of physical activity or why the physical activity was helping, but I think it really shed some light and really put some emphasis on that you really have to move. You can't just expect not to have any type of pain going into dentistry if you don't move your body.
I mean, you're an expert in this. I mean, there's nobody listening to this that's ever going to get invited to American Ninja. What is your boiled down advice for every dental student starting this profession and for everybody working in dentistry? How would you boil down this advice?
I would say, number one, you gotta hang. Get your chin up bar. I even have some handles to see if I have them. I don't have them right here, right in front of me, but have some handles. I got them on Amazon. Howard, I sent you a little package of them. You just put them over your door. You close the door, and you can reach up and hang. You don't have to hang with your feet off the floor. Just so you get your arms up, your back stretched out. Add hanging into your daily routine. Number two is you need to have some type of mobility routine, stretch routine. You can't expect to be athletic, just go out and run 5 miles, go in and practice dentistry, and just because you're fit by athletic standards, not to have pain. You got to add some yoga, you got to add some stretching, whatever. If you need some help, get a coach to help you with a really good stretching routine. And number three, which may sound kind of crazy, is you got to be careful of your clothes. And girls especially, it's the shoes that are popular, heels are the worst. That is one of the worst things that can damage your body that people don't realize, especially when it comes to your knees and when it comes to your back, to your back health, because it puts when you have heels on, if you stood up straight with heels on, you would fall forward. You have to compensate by bending your knees and tucking your hips under and all these little minor adjustments, and doing that over a period of years really wreaks havoc on your body. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm a big proponent of going barefoot. Barefoot. Right now, of course, I can't practice barefoot, but I wear shoes. I wear those 5-finger shoes, those Vibram 5-finger shoes, so my feet can stay active. Just like in dentistry, if your foundation is not strong, your dentistry is going to be cracked. Your tooth is going to break. And that's the same thing with your body. If your feet, which is your foundation for all your movement and for your structure, if they're not strong, if they're not mobile, then you're going to have some hiccups no matter what you do. So I think that foot health, wearing the correct kind of shoes that allow your feet to move, shoes that do not have a heel on it are super important. And it goes for the guys too with what they wear. And I was actually at the National ASA conference doing a little presentation back in November in Chicago. And we were doing some stretches as a group with the class I was teaching. And all the guys, they looked so awesome, so great. They were in their suits. They were in their nice dress shirts. And when we lifted up our arms, they couldn't lift their arms up because their clothes were prohibiting their movement. And you just think about that, the clothes that we wear, if we can't move in them, if we can't lift our arms up, if we can't hang, if we can't stretch, then we're not going to. We're not going to stretch where we rip our clothes or have a hole in our clothes. So being really cognizant of clothes that you wear that allow you to move and do the positions that we as humans, as primates, are made to do, and that's not sit at death.
You're the first person in years that referred to us humans as primates. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you go to the zoo, the only animal in the zoo with clothes on is the humans. And my podiatrist friends tell me that that their entire industry is 80% women wearing heels because they shift the weight from half front, half back. They jack up the back. And it's just insanity. But when a lot of the girls say, a lot of the girl dentists that tell me, they say, well, I don't know, I feel like to be a professional dentist, I have to have this look and I want to wear a dress and heels like I'm going to church with a white lab coat over, and they think that's part of their image. What would you say to that young lady?
Do you want to look good or do you want to feel good?
Right.
Because I personally want to feel good. And I know that I can be the best dentist when I have the most energy, when I'm not in pain and I feel good. So to me, feeling good trumps looking a certain way any day.
Actually, that was the worst thing you could have said to me, because you know what that just triggered in my mind? I can remember when I was, I couldn't have been in grammar school. I was probably in kindergarten, and I walked in my mom's room and she was trying to pull herself into her girdle. And I said, Mom, why do you wear that? She snapped back, because I'd rather look good than feel good. And here it is 50 years later. Now you're telling me that you should feel good, not look good. So, do they still even have girdles, or was that a thing from 50 years ago?
Oh, gosh, I'm sure they do. I am sure they do. But I'll let you know that I will not be wearing a girdle. There's no way.
But and then as far as the men, I have a cardiovascular. I heard a cardiovascular lecture by a cardiovascular surgeon. They have definitely associated male neckties with carotid artery disease, just because the physics of fluid, that when you put a little tension there, that's going to have turbulence in the blood. And these guys say they can look at your carotid artery and say, yeah, this guy wore a necktie for 40 years. And you're saying that they can't even put their arms over their head. I mean, we do a lot of crazy stuff with our shoes and neckties and.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And it's, definitely not getting any better. I am fortunate though that I since I own my practice, nobody, can tell me what to wear. I want to protect my feet, but I can wear those like crazy shoes that have like the fingers in them that are like most like close to barefoot that you can possibly get. And like the pants that I wear, like from a distance, they look like dress pants, but they're like stretchy. They're yoga dress pants. So I can get by with those. And I also wear like a really stretchy like knit shirt, like a polo shirt to work, so I can like move around during the day. So yeah, like it's tough enough, but like I really try to find ways to break free like from that, because it can cause some issues, tremendous issues with your body.
It seems to me, could a big part of your success be when I have seen so many dental offices after a long stressful procedure. Lots of times the staff, just to relax, they go back to the break room and eat a sugary, salty snack or a donut. Whereas what you're doing is trying to move or exercise. But the question still begs, what does Desiree do when she's hungry at work? What kind? Because, abs are made in the kitchen. What you're talking a lot about exercise, but where does diet fit into all this?
Well, when I go to work, I don't want to think about what I have to eat. But I also want to eat healthy. I want to make sure I get enough like fuel and protein and vitamins. So what I do is like I prepare all my meals the week, like the Sunday before I go into work. And I actually take them like on that Sunday night, I take them to work and I put them all in the fridge.
So you meal prep on Sunday night for your week. What are your hours? Are you Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday? How many days a week do you work?
We're Monday through Thursday. 8:30 to 5:30.
And so you meal prep for the entire week before that.
For 4 days. So it's not that bad.
So you bring in 4 Tupperware containers of food?
Well, actually, I'm a big soup fan. I'm a big soup fan because you can get your vegetables in it. You can get your protein in it. I also like to put in, I call my secret ingredient, which is like collagen. Collagen is great for your joints and your joint health and inflammation. Big fan of collagen. So I make my vegetable soup with chicken and collagen, and I also bring some sweet potatoes. And today I had okra, which was awesome. I love okra. So I make sure that every meal has some type of protein, some type of green vegetable in it, and some type of like really good carb. So all I have to do is like put it in the microwave. It's already fixed, heat it up, and just eat it. 10 minutes, if I'm like running behind, like 10 minutes, but I like a longer time so I can actually get some stretches in.
So you should get your husband a shirt that says, "She's my sweet potato," pointing to you. And then your shirt says, I am.
That's right. That is right.
So you like,
Every
so in your
day.
vegetable soup, you like chicken, okra, and sweet potatoes?
Yeah, but I like any type of vegetables. Today was just okra. So I'm a vegetable fan. Like this morning I had 3 eggs, like 2 like cups of kale and 3 sweet potatoes.
For breakfast.
For breakfast.
3
yeah,
eggs.
so I really do.
3 eggs and 3 sweet potatoes?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, most people would say that's too many carbs and you're going to look like Howard when you're done eating.
Well, you know what? I just stop when I'm full. And like today, I just couldn't get full. So it took 3 eggs and 3 sweet potatoes. But, honestly, I really try to listen to my appetite. If I meal prep and my portion is a little bit too, if I get full before I finish eating, then, I stop. I think that's a really big key there. But today it was on today.
It was on. And then what's your typical dinner like?
I love salmon. I'm a big salmon fan. So I usually do like a big stir fry, like with salmon, like with broccoli, sugar snap peas, add some avocado in it. And then of course, sweet potato. But yeah, it's usually some type of fish or seafood for dinner.
You have mentioned sweet potato a lot, and what I'll never forget in dental school is in our nutrition course is that if you had a potato in there, you pretty much could check off all your vitamins and minerals. I mean, it was just an easy thing to just knock everything. So are you a big sweet potato fan?
I'm a super sweet potato fan. Usually like every single day. I usually buy 6 to 9 pounds at the grocery store every week.
6 to 9 pounds of sweet potatoes.
Yep.
Wow. And those are better than Idaho potatoes, aren't they?
Yes, they're supposed to be better than Idaho potatoes. White potatoes are not bad for you. You just don't want to eat them fried with a lot of butter on them. But I just like sweet potatoes. And I think that goes down to, when people will try all these different weird diets or diets to try to get fit and healthy or lose weight, they end up picking foods they don't like. Like they hate what they eat. I love what I eat. You've got to love what you eat or you're not going to stick to it. Like in my meal prep, I love my food. I wouldn't want to go out and get a burger. I want to eat what I brought and what I made. It makes me feel good and I like the way it tastes.
Now, is this culture of diet and exercise, is that incorporated by your staff and your husband, Ash? I mean, is everybody like this, or do you feel that it doesn't matter if your receptionist is up there eating donuts and you're back there eating yams, or how does that all work?
Well, I like to think I can be a really healthy influence on everyone, but everybody has their own little different ways they like to eat. And I'm pretty sure that I'm probably the most weird of everyone. But my husband, he's a big health nut too. So, that is one thing that we really share in common is being healthy. And the whole thing about it is not to be healthy just to be healthy, but to be healthy, so you can feel good and so you can do your best work and you can be your best person. That's what the whole thing about being healthy is and eating healthy. It's just feeling good.
So, on Dental Town, there's some threads a mile long about burnout. And, and everybody talks about everyone in America. There's so much depression. Do you think a lot of this dentist burnout is from just being unhealthy?
Yeah, I think from being physically unhealthy and mentally unhealthy. I really didn't realize how big mental health played in dentistry or how much you had to be aware of it until I got out of dental school. I thought I was just stressed out because I was taking exams. I didn't realize I was going to be stressed out because I had patients, I had staff, I had bills, et cetera, et cetera. But I realized that, the stress was there. So I do a lot of things for that as well. And one thing I started several years ago that's helped tremendously is meditation. And I feel like that really calms my mind. Being more aware and more reflective has helped. I'm a big fan of the app. There's an app that I use called Headspace, and you can pick 3 minutes to like 10 minutes of meditation. If I only get 3 minutes in, I feel like that refreshes me for the day. Super fan. Like, I think like this is, hopefully it will make a comeback in total body health and wellness. And that is the sauna. The sauna is amazing. I do this special routine every morning. I don't know if it's special if I do it every morning, but routine I do every morning. I get up, I do my workout first thing, and right after my workout, I get in the sauna for 20 to 30 minutes. I do my meditation and kind of just like set the stage for the day. As far as like health benefits, there was a study that just came out in 2017, and they did it in Finland. Finland, they use, like, every family has a sauna. There's like 5 million people in Finland, and there's like 2 million saunas. Sauna is like part of like their daily routine, how they like catch up, socialize. And they did a study. It was over, I think, 20 years. They found that men who used the sauna 3 times a week for 20 minutes had a 40% decrease in all-cause mortality. And they even studied like heart disease and cancer rates, and it was all lower for the men that did the sauna. And there's a few other studies that have come out as well with Alzheimer's risk and everything. So I feel like the meditation, the sauna is a big part of my mental health. And you have to, like, whether the meditation or the sauna is your thing, you have to find something, a way to decompress. Most definitely.
Huh, the Headspace. So you like the Headspace app and the sauna?
Yes, super fan of the sauna, man. Like, if you want to work out without working out, get in the sauna, because it speeds up your cardiovascular rate. It increases your endurance. It actually increases your growth hormone, which actually builds muscle and burns fat. It causes like heat shock proteins in your brain. The cascade, they think, to help prevent Alzheimer's. I'm a super fan of the sauna. And since I've been doing the sauna, I actually got mine. It's a barrel sauna I have outside my house. And I found it on eBay. And I got our landscape crew to put it together. And I'll probably use it once or twice a week. No, I use that thing every day. I have not been sick since I've got the sauna. It's like complete like detox. You feel like all the toxins that your body is consuming is like coming out your pores. It's amazing.
And Headspace, it says it's hard to talk about Headspace without talking about Andy Puddicombe. So let's start there. In his early 20s, Andy cut his sports science degree short to become a Buddhist monk. For over 10 years, his meditation training took him across the world to Nepal, India, Burma, Thailand, Australia, and Russia. Eventually, he was ordained at a Tibetan monastery in the Indian Himalayas. After completing his monastic commitment, Andy returned to the UK with a huge yet simple goal of teaching meditation and mindfulness to as many people as possible. To demystify the mystical, Andy set up a meditation consulting. He goes on and on and on. So, what are you saying to someone who's a dentist listening to this, saying, how could meditation help them in their stresses of dentistry? What do you think it is?
I think it calms the mind. You don't really have to try to meditate. You just like sit down and do it. I like the guided meditation better because it kind of gives you a guide. Like, say, like you're like really, really stressed out on the Headspace app. They have like meditation like for having stress. Meditation, they have a meditation for feeling sad, and you can kind of just relax and breathe. And I think a lot of it is the breath. We forget to breathe. Like, we're always kind of holding our breath, being stressed at work, not breathing fully. And when you get that full breath, when you get the full oxygen to your brain and to your body, I think it does a lot. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you just have to practice and to feel to really gain the benefits of it.
And so I agree with yoga. I mean, my God, I just think yoga is just the greatest thing in the world. What is your view of yoga, and how often do you do that?
Well, I don't have a traditional yoga practice. I've taken a lot of classes in the past, so I just like to make my own routine. Whatever's hurt, whatever's feeling like it's not working well, whether my back or my hip, I try to incorporate those moves in it. I think yoga is great. Yoga's wonderful, but I think in the traditional yoga classes, if you just stick to yoga, you forget about hanging, you forget about like using your arms. And going back to the primate example, as monkeys and apes, they brachiate, they use their arms like to traverse, to move, to locomote, to move from one place to the next. With our DNA being so similar, we're supposed to move our arms and hang so we can, get the nourishment and the exercise in that way. I think that a lot of times yoga is very just floor-based, which you can get a lot out of it, but don't forget other movement modalities.
Your dental office is stunning, and you built that from the ground up. And now it seems like, I graduated May 11, had my office open September 21st. And now it seems like these new generation of kids, they think, I'm just going to get a job at a DSO and I'm just going to be somebody's associate, which I think would be great advice if everyone who did it 5 years ago is still there loving it. But they're never there loving it. The turnover is about 1 year per job, whether it's private, public, DSO, whatever. What do you think gave you the courage to just build your own dental office from the ground up instead of being somebody else's employee after 8 years of college?
I was so fed up. I was so sick of it. I was so tired of it. I couldn't take it anymore. I was not enjoying dentistry. I had to make a change, like either a change in my career or change where I work. And that's what springboarded me to build my own practice. It was just being so completely just demoralized with dentistry and the way that I had to work and the type of dentistry that I was doing.
I know. I was watching an MMA fight the other night, and this dentist is whining about everything, and I just want to stand up and scream and say, "Well, quit working there. Just open up your own place." But they just live in fear. They'd rather live in the hell they know than just go start their own when there's only a 0.4% chance you'll go bankrupt, and all of those people had their license taken away, usually for alcohol and drugs.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I love my practice. There's so much more for me to learn, so much more for me to try, and so much bigger benefit I can be to my community. Like, I'm super excited about it. I mean, like, one thing that we just got, like, I just love it. I'll go get it and show it to you right here. It is a championship belt. It's like the Ninja Championship belt. And this is for our kids who are Ninja Smile Champions, AKA they don't have any cavities. So when they come for their checkup and they don't have any cavities, they get a picture with the belt. They get to come into my Ninja room, actually let kids, like, with their parents' permission. And especially if they like Ninja Warrior, like to swing on the rings and climb on the bars. So I couldn't have this much fun if I was working for someone else, or at least help these ideas materialize. So that's what's so fun about it.
So how long were you an associate after dental school before you finally pulled the switch? How many different jobs did you have before you finally said, you know what, I'd just rather do it myself?
I was an associate for 5 years, but I was fed up after probably the second year. And it took 3 more years to actually get the ideas materialized. So yeah, I knew after the second year, this was not going anywhere. It was a high volume, a Medicaid practice. There were some things that were happening that were unethical. I wanted to get out of it. I was not able to practice dentistry the way I wanted to practice dentistry, spend time, get to know my patients. But it was rough. It was so rough. When I was building my practice, I would work with the associate through the week. And then on the weekends, I would work at this other practice 45 miles away, Saturday and Sunday. We're talking Saturday night. I wouldn't get home till 11 o'clock. But, I wanted to save money and be financially stable, because I knew when I opened the practice that I probably wouldn't be able to have an income for a little while. And, I wanted to be secure. But it was rough. It was tough, but it's so worth it. I would do it over again in a heartbeat.
What's amazing is, what the longest running thread on Dental Town is that has over 20,000 replies. It's called How to Really Get Into Shape. And every day it's dentists trying to encourage everybody, posting pictures on what they did. My gosh. And I know all these posters because they've been doing it forever. And I've just always associated people who take care of their tool, their instrument, have the energy to be better, successful dentists, family members, everything.
Oh, I totally agree. I definitely have to check that out. Definitely want to go on and say hello to everyone. When I'm not feeling good, when I'm not able to work out, when I'm not able to move my body, my mind doesn't feel good. I feel kind of depressed and sluggish. So, to me, like feeling healthy and feeling good is about movement. It's about exercise. I take one day a week. I mean, we have to take days off to recover, and I'm, adamant about taking my day or two off to not exercise and just to relax. But it's a part of my daily routine to feel healthy and be the best dentist, I can be.
So what would you tell that, first of all, what year did you get out of school?
2008.
You excelled not just in owning your own practice, American Fitness, but you got involved in organized dentistry too. And a lot of these kids come out of school and they say, I'm $285,000 in debt. I don't have the money or the time for organized dentistry. What would you say to those people?
Well, I went into organized dentistry to be an advocate for my profession. And you don't realize until you go to the meetings, until you're involved, about how big a hand the government can have on how you practice dentistry and what you do. And I feel like this is my way to make a difference in other dentists that practice in North Carolina, that practice in the nation, to really be on the cusp of what is going on with corporate dentistry, what is going on with government regulations, and how they're constricting my practice or how maybe they're benefiting my practice, and what we can do as a group to stand up for what we know is right for our patients.
And what do you think is happening to dentistry?
Well, in North Carolina, I'm super excited to be a part of organized dentistry because we're one of the very few states that do not allow corporate dentistry or do not allow dental practices that are not owned by a dentist. There can't be an owner in the dental practice that's not a dentist, that does not have a DDS or a DMD. And I think that is a huge accomplishment. We've really had to fight long and hard for that. One of our recent victories in North Carolina is what we call the Dental Bill of Rights. And that is where we have tried to halt insurance companies for stepping all over us. I mean, they were wanting to give payments in the form of like credit card or merchant, where we would have to receive our insurance benefits by running a credit card number. That is causing the dentist like excess merchant fees. So we just got that stopped. Like if the dentist wants to be paid in a check reimbursement from the insurance company has to provide that check. They cannot give like a debit card number. So we have to do our have increased merchant fees. Also, like if insurance companies, if they approve a certain procedure we have documented that it is approved, and they go back and say that, no, they're no longer approving a certain procedure. They can't do that anymore. So I feel like that's really going to be super helpful and save a lot of dentists and, translate to our patients a lot of money in the long run.
So that is an interesting bill. It's basically SB 252, HB 704, Dental Bill of Rights, sponsored by Jim Davis. Is that a dentist? Is Senator Jim Davis a dentist, or are you just?
No, I think that he has a lot of dental friends. He's definitely friends with the North Carolina AdPAC and our dental society.
So it did pass, and I tell you, you just have to get involved, because every business goes to the government to help them form a cartel so they can extract more money out of you for less effort. And people always think that the government's there to protect them. The government's there to protect who's ever giving them money. It's just the way it is. And if you're not supporting the American Dental Association, then they're just going to walk all over you.
Right. Yeah. Most definitely. And a lot of times, if you're not plugged into one of the big organized groups, you don't know who's doing the walking or who your biggest threats are or what's coming down the pipe. It really just gives you the lay of the land and really kind of where you want to go and, what some of the possible threats may be.
Yeah. It prohibits mandatory payment by virtual credit cards, requires transparency in rental insurance networks, protects prior authorizations. So this prohibits mandatory payment by virtual credit cards. That might have flown over someone's head. Says this section of the bill prohibits insurers from requiring dentists to accept one form of payment, such as electronic funds transfers or virtual credit cards. Like any other credit card transaction, there are typically a processing fee associated with virtual credit card payments, often ranging from 2.5% to 5%. That means whenever a provider is reimbursed by an insurance company, a percentage of the payment is automatically subtracted, and the office may be forced to pass the cost on to patients. And then number 2 requires transparency in rental insurance. This section requires insurance plans to notify dentists when networks are rented out at the time of contract's execution and renewal, and gives dentists the ability to opt out of these networks. It also requires any third parties with access to the contract to comply with that contractor's original terms. Last but not least, I can't thank you so much for an hour, but has American Ninja Warrior, was that a big marketing plug when everybody in your communities saying, oh my God, that girl's from our hometown? Was that good marketing?
Oh, it was fantastic marketing. It was great marketing with the very first time that I was on American Ninja Warrior, because the production crew actually did a little excerpt at my office. And on national television, they showed my dental sign. I was like, what? This is crazy. So that was back in 2015. I was like, that's like $1 million in marketing, like for free. So back in 2015, I definitely got a lot of calls and a lot of people in the community. And it's super exciting because you're like a hero to the kids. And I love that because they can equate going to the dentist as something as being fun. And that's going to stick with them throughout their life. They're like, my dentist is a ninja dentist. I love going to the ninja room. So it's been great. I've had a super good time with it. The past 2 times I was on American Ninja Warrior, they didn't show my clip, which was anticlimactic. So I didn't get any television time for that, but that's fine. It was just fun thing. I did it. It was just a complete honor. And to actually be able to share that with my patients is super cool.
Well, everybody was talking about it on Dental Town. I mean, no one can believe that, a dentist was up there on American Ninja Warrior. That is so cool. Last but not least, I hate to ask you this because it just doesn't seem right, but a lot of women that entered dental school back when I did in '87 said it was a man's profession. And now it's changed to half the graduates are women. Do you still see it as a man's profession? Is it half and half? Is it even an issue? Do you ever even think about it?
You know what? That is like the least thing from my mind, because when I go to work every day, there's like women all around me. Like my hygienists are women, my dental assistants are women, our front desk are women. So it's even hard for me to think like this is a man's profession. So being the environment that I'm in, I don't even think about it. It's honestly great when I get to go to the dental meetings and interact with my male colleagues, and love hearing how they handle their assistants and their front desk in different situations. So I mean, I don't think that at all. Honestly, my husband, he's actually going to get the summer off, or a couple of weeks off for the summer, and I'm like, please come to the office. We need some testosterone in it. So no, I don't feel that way at all.
So that was my next question. We still live in ancient times where women do more housework or chores or whatever in the average family. A lot of females in dental school are struggling with, well, I want to be the awesome mom and I want to be an awesome dentist. How do you think if you're married with 2 cats, the fluffy guys are just as complex. Do you think you could be a better husband and mother if you owned your own practice or if you were an employee?
I think it really goes to what your values are and how you set up your practice. If you own your own practice, you can set your hours. You can get an associate. There's so much flexibility that you can have, so much creativity that you can have. I mean, if you want to open at 7 o'clock and you want to close at 3, you can do that. I know plenty of female colleagues have done just that, so they can be at home to get their kids off from school. But I know there are several that love their time off and like to get paid on their time off, or they like their vacation days. And when you own your own practice, it's very difficult to have like actual vacation days where you shut everything off. I mean, because if you're the only dentist, you're always kind of going to be on call. You're going to need to check the messages every now and then. So I really think it's the situation that you're in is the situation that you create. If you want to be an awesome mom and have your own practice, you can do it. There's so many people that have done that.
Well, last but not least, what advice would you give to that little 25-year-old baby girl who just got out of dental kindergarten school a month ago, and she's in her first job, and she already can't stand the office manager. She can't stand somebody who's not a dentist saying, well, 20% of your new patients should have perio disease, and you're doing too many MOD composites. You should be doing this many crownings, and she's already thinking, oh my God, but she's scared. She's scared to go pull the trigger, even with a only 0.4% default rate, and she's currently not an alcoholic or drug addict. What advice would you give her?
I would say, make sure you know what you want, write down your values, and go temp. It's so easy now to be connected with a temp agency on your days off. Figure out what you like. You don't have to decide all in one day. Figure out what you like, what you don't like. And then, like in my case, like create it. And like we were so careful, like in dental school and right after I graduated, like not to spend any money. Like we didn't buy new cars. Like my husband actually had a house here in Lumberton that we moved into after we graduated dental school. We were renting it out. And so we were like super like tight with our finances and super careful. And when you want to get those big loans, that's what the bank is going to look at. It's going to look at your debt history. If you have a huge like school debt and then you have like huge like overhead with like cars and houses and boats, you're not going to be able to get the loan and to really build what you want to build. So I would say, temp some, figure out what you really like, and then be really smart with your finances.
Can I just ask you a couple more overtime questions real quick?
Sure.
On your Dental Town article, you said you liked Dental Vibe. Can you tell my homies about Dental Vibe and why do you like it?
Dental Vibe is a distraction device for injections. And I had used it the first day I opened up my practice, and I absolutely love it. There's like some patients that get injections that don't even know that I gave them an injection. And what it is, it's like a little vibrator, and you put it inside like the cheek and you have like little prongs and it vibrates. And you put it right at where you're going to give the injection, right where you're going to insert the needle. And it confuses like the pain signal that, the patient's not thinking about sharp, going to think about, oh, my cheek's vibrating. And you give them the injection, you do it really slowly. And a lot of times they don't even know. I love it for pediatric patients. You can even put a finger puppet on the end of it and like, oh, we're going to make the sugar bugs dance. And they don't know. They just think their cheeks get vibrated.
And you would think they would get that because the half of America reports not, having some form of phobia or being scared of the dentist. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. And then I'll let you go up. But the other one, you said you also like the Nomad.
Yes, which is like the little portable handheld X-ray device, which was great because in North Carolina, the radiation restrictions when you built like a practice were crazy. And I couldn't have designed my practice like with like the open operatories the way I designed it if I did the regular x-ray tube heads that were mounted on the wall, because I would have to have so much like lead lining, yada, yada, yada. So it was awesome. It saved like thousands of dollars getting that. And I still really like it.
The Nomad Pro 2 handheld x-ray system is powered by rechargeable battery packs. It is lightweight and has internal and external shielding, which allows... So you're a big fan of the Nomad.
Super big fan. Absolutely. Like we saved so much money. We really couldn't have designed our practice in the way that we designed it if we didn't have the Nomad.
And that is owned by Cavo. And so then you had two more, FlexView.
Yes. Those are like the overhead tracks that put the TV monitor on that. And I know the article was written a while back. Those served its purpose, but I'm ready to graduate from the FlexViews. I actually don't think they make those anymore. It was awesome and great. I was like, this is going to be so wonderful. We can put the monitor wherever we want to. If the patient's laying back, we can put it over their head. If we want to show them the x-rays, we can put it over to the side. But it was such a pain in the neck to move that freaking monitor everywhere. And it was kind of a little cumbersome that, I'm done with it. So I'm ready to get like mounted monitors for patients.
And then you just have two more. You like, a lot of people ask this. I'm opening up my office. Which dental practice management software do you like? And you said you like Open Dental software.
Yes, love Open Dental. It's very, very user friendly from staff that have never been introduced into the dental world before. Just diving in and being able to use it in a week, and I love it. It's been great customer service as well.
And last but not least is the Kona adapter with Isolite mouthpiece.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That saves so much money from having to buy like the regular Isolites, and it works like just as well. We actually use now, so we can sterilize, is the dry shield adapter on the Kona. Like the Isolite were just disposable. So dry shield has a piece that the mouthpiece, that's the bite block and the tongue retractor and suction that you can put on the Cavo that you can the Kona that you can sterilize, and we save money, and I love it.
Well, you love that, and I love you. You're so motivational and inspirational, and every time I ever see you on Instagram, what's your Instagram? You're ninja_dentist, or what is it?
It's Ninja Dentist, and then _Desi.
Desi, and spell that for them so they remember.
NINJA Dentist _DESI.
_DS, but you've motivated me so many times, and every time I think of you or see your Instagram post, I always think, just drop down right now and just give me 10 right now. Why can't you just jump to the floor and do 10 push-ups? So thank you for all that you've done for me, for Dental Town, for dentistry. You are a role model of role models.
Thank you, Howard. It has been such an honor, and I'm so excited to be able to share.
All right. Well, I hope you have a rocking good evening eating 3.5 pounds of sweet potatoes tonight.
You know it.
All right. Have a great day.